You're on your own for this pick. I have to pee.
Oh. Well, I'm alone here. I don't know if Nick's gonna probably, I guess, hear this back. But yeah, I didn't think this was gonna happen. Maybe I'll lie to him and say that I put my 2 points here, and then he's gonna realize I didn't, and then I can be a dick. Question.
Did you already make your 2-point?
No, honestly, I was waiting for you.
God damn it.
I did leave you something for when you edit, though. I'm interested to see what you say.
All right. What is going on, guys? Nick's picks, week 3 of the NFL season, and I am joined, as I am always, by Ben. Ben, it is week 3 of the NFL season. Week 2 went a certain way for you and a certain way for me. As you can tell by our demeanor about both of those, I think you can kind of guess who did well and who didn't. But we will get into our week 2 recap first before we get into any of that. Starting with the Thursday night game last week, the Chiefs beat the Chargers 27-24. The real question mark, though, is Justin Herbert okay? Or is the Los Angeles Chargers team or medical staff going to puncture his lung just like Tyrod? My New York Football Giants have started off 2-0 for the first time since 2016 after beating the Carolina Panthers 19-16. I wish you would use your fucking challenge on that, Ben. The Jets. Can we just talk about that for a second? The New York Jets with one of the most improbable comebacks in football history, but it was the Browns, so it wasn't that improbable, but it was Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I was at work and I was like, oh, the Jets didn't make it a game when it was 28 to 14 or whatever it was. And then all of a sudden I look up and the Jets scored. And I'm like, what the hell just happened?
The Lions beat the Commies 36-27. Yes, we're going to continue to call them the Commies probably the rest of the season. The internet is going to bully Washington into changing their name again, and it's going to be hilarious. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the New Orleans Saints 20-10. The New England Patriots beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-14. The Jaguars shut out the Indianapolis Colts 24-0. Matt Ryan, I texted you, brought the Atlanta to Indy. The Dolphins and the Ravens game was probably the game of the week, in all honesty. Tua threw 6 touchdown passes in that game. I know they were down by a bit, so it was a comeback for them as well, but holy shit, 42-38, the Dolphins beat the Ravens. Atlanta Falcons almost pulled off their own 28-3 comeback against the team. They were down 28-3 to the Los Angeles Rams, but ended up losing that game 31-27. It was you had 2 straight weeks where you almost had a comeback. Marcus Mariota apparently only plays in the last couple quarters of the game compared to normal where you guys would only play the first 3 quarters. Now you guys are only playing the fourth quarter. So
what we need to do
is it the worst thing in the world?
We need to trade for Matt Ryan, have him for the first 3 quarters, and then put in Mariota for the 4th quarter. Got it.
The San Francisco 49ers beat the Seattle Seahawks, so it looks like Geno Smith did right back finally. 27-20. The Dallas Cowboys without Dak Prescott and with Cooper Rush leading the charge. Cooper Rush is now 2-0 as a starter, by the way. Defeat the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals 20-17 on a game-winning field goal. The Denver Broncos beat the Houston Texans 16-9. Speaking of offenses with something going wrong, Denver, Broncos country, what the fuck is wrong? The Arizona Cardinals also mounted a comeback this week against the Las Vegas Raiders, winning in overtime 29-23. That was an insane end of it was just an insane weekend for football altogether.
Oh, yeah.
The Green Bay Packers did beat the Chicago Bears 27-10, so Rodgers still owns them. The Bills absolutely dominated the Tennessee Titans 41-7, and then the Philadelphia Eagles handled the Minnesota Vikings last night as well, 24-7. And that is our week 2 recap. I got all of my picks right. My game of the week, our pick, Ben's pick for me, and the wager pick. I got all 4 of those right. Missed my 2-point conversion, so that left me with 12 points on the week. Ben, once again, gets 2 games correct, but got his wager pick wrong. So Ben sitting at 3 points for the week, bringing your new Knicks picks total 17-6.
Incorrect, sir, because I got my 2-point.
Never mind, 17-8. So we move on with Nick's picks, and we start with the game of the week for week 3. And after an insane game against the Baltimore Ravens last week, I think that the Dolphins have proved that they are better than we thought they were. I won't say that they are like too much of a contender or anything like that, or that they can even compete for this division with Buffalo, but they are better than we thought they were. And Tua is definitely playing the quarterback position much better than we thought he was going to. That all being said, I do still think that the Bills are the better team. I do realize that this is at home for the Miami Dolphins, but I think you just spent a lot of energy and a lot of your offensive playbook on coming back against the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think that you go from a game like that to continuing what you were doing against a dominant team like Buffalo. So I do have Buffalo winning this one 31-21. However, I do just want to point out that the Dolphins are definitely better than we thought they were, but the Bills are exactly what we thought they were. They are just out here dominating teams left and right. So 31-21. I do have the Bills over the Dolphins.
Well, my game of the week is the rematch of the divisional round, I think it was, or whatever. I forgot what it was. But that is the Packers and the Bucs. It is Brady versus Rodgers, whereas both teams don't really have a wide receiver core. Yes, I get it. Rodgers has Watkins, but I put that more on the Bears, just shitty defense. And the Bucs have, like I said, they have no one. So this is quite literally just a matter of who has the better defense. And I'm giving that to, this time at least, the Green Bay Packers. Even though I think the Bucs have a very good defense, I believe more in the Packers defense, despite them being on the road. So I have the Packers winning this game 27-24. I think even though Brady and Rodgers don't really have a true number one wide receiver, they're both great quarterbacks in their own right that they can make Nick and I have 100 yards receiving. Like, that's just how it is. Like, that's just how great they are as quarterbacks. So I still think they'll do just fine. But again, also Rodgers at least has healthy wide receivers, whereas Tampa does not.
We move on to our picks of the week. Ben, you have a winnable game with Seattle this week. Don't choke this one.
Just wait till you hear my score. That's all I'm going to say.
But the New York Giants are going up against the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants are 2-0 for the first time since 2016. They're tied. I was kind of hoping the Philadelphia Eagles would lose last night so that we could have at least 1 week on top of the NFC East. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't necessarily know if we're winning this game. Look, the thing about Dallas is, and the only reason I'm going to pick the Giants, and the thing about Dallas is Cooper, when Dallas goes through this a lot, Dallas loses their starting quarterback fairly consistently in their franchise. And typically what happens when it was Tony Romo at first, but now Dak Prescott getting injured for the season, the backup will come in and he will perform fairly well the first week, and then it goes downhill. So I am hoping that this is the start of the downhill slope for the Dallas Cowboys, because Cooper Rush performed fairly well last week. And the Dallas Cowboys obviously do have the better roster than the New York Giants, but I do think that the running game is going to be able to get going a lot more than it was against Carolina last week. So Saquon Barkley is definitely going to be a bigger factor in this game than he was last week, so they won't have to rely on Daniel Jones that much. But honestly, the biggest thing is this offensive line needs to protect. I am leaning Giants here 21-17 over the Dallas Cowboys. Could definitely see the Giants losing this game, but regardless, whether we're 2-0 or 3-0 by the end of this or 2-1, we're still better than I thought we were going to be. So I'll take a 2-1, but I would love a 3-0.
I was this close to calling a challenge, but
you can call your challenge on my Giants games all you want, Ben.
Atlanta almost completed the curse. They almost did it, and because of that,
Speaking of curse, Saquon Barkley broke the Manning cast curse.
That is correct. That is very much correct. I will give you that.
Fuck yeah! All right, go ahead.
But regardless, I think Geno's right back just was a week late, because he's definitely writing back against Atlanta, but not by much. I have the Seahawks winning 17-14 over Atlanta, purely because I really don't believe in either one of these teams. If I'm just being honest with you, it's just gonna be. I have no say in this, honestly. I'm just hoping the game gets over quickly as soon as possible, honestly.
We move on to the games that we pick for each other. We don't pick the scores for each other, but we tell each other that you have to pick this game. Ben told me I have to talk about Broncos country going up against the San Francisco 49ers, who lost Trey Lance in a devastating ankle injury. So he will be out for the season, and we are back to Jimmy G, San Francisco, at least for the rest of this season. So good thing that the 49ers didn't trade him away when every NFL expert was telling him to. So the San Francisco 49ers do go into the Broncos. And these are two teams that have great rosters, like playoff level rosters, but have not played like playoff level teams quite yet. I do think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to struggle more than the Denver Broncos throughout the rest of this season. But just to show how close of a matchup or how even I feel like these two teams are, like two good teams that are just struggling right now, I think that this is going to be a close game. I'm going 28-27 Broncos over the 49ers, just because A, it's at home, and B, I mean, I don't know how many reps Jimmy Garoppolo has gotten with the first team. I mean, obviously he's going to have this full week, but he's not going to be as prepared as Russell Wilson is. So I'm going 28-27 Broncos over the 49ers.
All right, and Nick is giving me a divisional matchup with the Arizona Cardinals against the LA Rams. The Rams almost choked a 20-3 lead, as Nick said earlier, and the Cardinals completed a 22-0 comeback against the Las Vegas Raiders. And Kyler Murray, I guess, just needs to keep playing Call of Duty, because apparently that's the skill that he needs to do, not game film. It's that. As much as the Rams are my Super Bowl pick, this is definitely one of the games that I penciled down even before the season as a potential that they could lose to. I expected them to be 2-0 at this point, because I obviously predicted them to beat the Bills, but that didn't happen, and they almost choked against the Falcons. Because of that, I am having the Cardinals beat the Rams. The other reason is it is in Arizona. I think if this was in LA, I would have gone with the Rams. What the hell are you going on about?
I'm just wondering who the fuck, where'd you put my co-host? Because you're not him.
But regardless, I am picking the Cardinals and having them beat the LA Rams 28-24 in a very close game still. I think the Cardinals aren't necessarily the better team, but I do think that they will at least get the better of the LA Rams this week.
You know what?
You doing it?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw out the first challenge of Nick's picks, because you know what? I said it at the beginning of the season. I don't think that the Cardinals are that good, and I don't think that you truly believe that the Cardinals can beat the Rams. So I'm gonna throw my first challenge of the season, my first of two. It's early, I understand that, but I really think the Rams are gonna win this one. So if you guys are unaware, or if you forgot already what the challenge means, that means that this pick is now a wager pick as well for Ben. If he gets this pick wrong, he will lose points rather than gaining points. And I have doubled the value of this pick. So if Ben does get this pick right, he will end up getting 6 points. And if he gets it wrong, he's back down to 2. All right, we move on. Speaking of wager picks, we move on to our actual wager picks, the ones that are only worth 3, unless you decide to challenge one of these. My wager pick is the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, you could challenge this because you've had some good luck with Jacksonville in the past.
Surprisingly, yes.
But
I hate to say it, but you're correct.
But I don't think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are beating the Los Angeles Chargers. Granted, the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing a little better than we thought they were. I don't want to take the fact that they beat the Colts 24-0 as a sign that they're actually decent, because the Colts also tied with the Texans. So I think we just need to look at the Colts and be like, dude, the fuck? So I don't think the Jaguars are that good of a team. I do think the Chargers are an insanely good team. So 30-17. I do have the Los Angeles Chargers winning this one as my wager pick over Jacksonville.
No, I'm not doing a wager on that because I think Jacksonville's just very, very overrated at this point. And I'm not taking that risk either. I'm not giving you a free 6 points. All right, and my wager pick is the Kansas City Chiefs going against these said Colts. And I don't know what it is, but these Colts they ain't got it. I forgot to respond, but Matt Ryan didn't take the Atlanta because if he did, they would have choked 24-0 instead of not scoring any points. So
fair enough.
But regardless, I will say that it looks like Father Time. Week 1 was like kind of tapping the shoulder, and then week 2 just full on yanked Matt Ryan down into the ground. But regardless, I have the Chiefs winning this one 32-21 over the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think this will be that close of a game. I was very close to having the Colts have less points, but I think Matt Ryan can bounce back. I think Jonathan Taylor, for the sake of my fantasy team, should do really well. Good God, he only got me 7 points. Please, Jonathan Taylor, help me out.
And we finish off Nick's picks week 3 with the 2-point conversion. Now, look, I don't even want to talk about this, to be completely honest, but I have to swallow my pride just a little bit. Look, yes, the Giants are 2-0. Yes, the Giants are tied for the lead in the NFC East. But are the Giants the best team in the NFC East? No. Unfortunately, that burden falls on the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 100% the best team in this division, and Jalen Hurts is better than we thought he was, and I don't like it. The one thing I will say about this is Jalen Hurts, they call a lot, and I mean a lot, of designed runs for Jalen Hurts. That is going to Jalen Hurts sometime in the future. See what I did there? Hurts. It's gonna hurt. Yeah. Oh man. But with that being said, the Philadelphia Eagles go up against the Commies this weekend. And look, I hate to say it, but the Philadelphia Eagles are gonna go 3-0 to start the season, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon unless Jalen does get hurt. So I think Jalen's going to have a monster performance against the Commies this weekend. I think he's gonna throw for at least 250 passing yards and over 100 rushing yards in this game against the Washington Commanders.
And now moving on to hang on. Well, my 2-point goes to the Chicago Bears and Houston Texans game, and it's not in a positive way at all for either quarterback. And that is, of course, between Davis Mills and Justin Fields, and that is that I think neither one of them, both of them will have less than 250 total yards each. So that means Davis Mills will not have 250 plus yards, and neither will Justin Fields. I don't care who wins. I don't care if it ends in a tie. But neither of them are going to do good because really outside of Houston having Brandon Cooks, neither quarterback has anything to help them out.
So that is it for Nick's Picks week 3. Once again, before we get into next week, the score currently is 17-8. But there's a lot of games left, but we have a challenge this week too. So you have a game that's worth 6. You have 2 wager picks, so you could lose a bunch of points this week too. A lot that could happen this week, but yeah, that is it for Nick's Picks week 3. Ben, is there anything you want to say before we head out?
I want to go back to bed, honestly,
dude. I know.
I will say this is definitely gonna be the better of the two. I can agree with you on that.
Yes, I do like 6 a.m. better than 1 a.m.
Midnight.
Have a great one, guys. Enjoy week 3 of the NFL season. Peace. Gotta say it. I swear to God, Ben.
I had a yawn. I'm sorry. You're like saying, like, hang on, I'm tired. All right. Deuces.